Good afternoon, UK, good morning in US, good evening everywhere else in the world. It's a pleasure to talk to you on Business Impact AI platform. It's a journey. Just to introduce myself, I started my journey with Nucleus, where I founded Nucleus with Vishnu and Yogesh, and then moved on to set up Polaris and now Intellect Design Arena. In Intellect Design Arena, the focus when I decided to let go Polaris and start focusing on Intellect Design Arena is to reduce the complexity and add business impact technologies to be designed. And when we are designing business impact technologies, we looked at it, what is the desirability of my customer, who are my banks, who are my financial institution, who are my insurance companies. How do I create impact, business impact for them? For them, there are three things which are important, which all of us knows. First is about how do I grow the revenue? My revenue growth can come from three things: more products for the customer, more customer per product, and more transaction per customer or more transaction per product. So there are three levers which are available for growing the business of a financial institution. Second priority for them is the lower cost, minimize the cost of the operations or the cost of transactions. So overall cost to service the customer is a second lever. So either increase the revenue or decrease the cost to increase the margin. And third thing is it has to be fully risk and compliance, because this industry is a risk and compliance industry. So at this stage, we looked at it, what is required for financial institution to drive lower cost of technology and lower cost of operations. So lower cost of technology, we identified that we choose first principle thinking. First principle thinking means why bank exists. Bank exists because there is a financial event happen in the life of the customer or a corporate. Bank provides services which can be encoded as a technology called microservices. It needs to be connected to other services through the APIs. It can reside on a cloud, and the experience has to be headless so that each segment can be addressed properly. And sixth principle is AI. How do you build the contextuality to the transaction or contextuality to the operation? So it has to be composable and contextual platform which is required. And for that, what we did is we put this emac.ai as a core principle and zip coded the entire banking system with a 6-digit code L0, L1, L2. So we compress it into 386 microservices. Each of these microservices are coded over here. There is a 6-digit attached to the service codification, and that 6-digit coding makes a finite number of microservices, finite number of APIs, finite number of events. And similarly, when we are building the platform, we start having the agents to be required to service and bundle it. So emac.ai is a platform where I can compose operations, I compose customer experience, I compose my compliance, and that's how. For this, we require to build business impact AI platform. We started this journey by our research team 10 years back. We started from New York. We put the business impact AI people at New York and then supported from UK and supported from India to build up we failed 3 times in this journey, 2015, 16, 17, 18, when we are trying to implement in enterprise, though our solution was right, but when I'm going to implement in a customer site, there was a lot of doubts and a lot of issues were there which required elements to come in. And we found significant problem areas when we come to that. We had boulders to blast on. We had technical issues, infrastructure limitations, integration complexity with their existing systems, model reliability and unpredictable cost. There was financial issue, high initial investment, unclear business case. The organization was getting into pilot trap. We had organization siloed operations, entitlements was the issue, enterprise-wide AI strategy was missing, bias and fairness, explainability, data privacy. So these are the issues we faced. Though technologically we were okay, but we couldn't able to solve the problem for the bank or the insurance company where we started our journey in US, where we are giving underwriting use case. It took some time for us to get part of the whole thing, and we understood that AI is not about the models. It's not about the efficacy of the way neural networks works. It's about how do you deploy in enterprise space where there need to be having correlation of various elements. Now for this, after multiple research, we found first thing a organization needs is the right knowledge. Because for designing any system, we need a right knowledge, we need a right digital experts, we need right governance, and we need right LLMs. That is a compass which is required to move to the business impact AI. So there's a beginning journey which is that how my knowledge, which is my moat, is to be taken care of. Now, once we are able to understand these issues, we start designing and architecting business impact AI in very, very different way. For this, at Intellect, we land up in 2013 to set up a 30,000 square feet of design center. Why design center? Because when we are finding the new technologies emerging at that point of time, the cloud was emerging, the asynchronous technologies are there, event-driven technologies are there. We needed to reimagine the world very differently, and for that, we needed to set up a design thinking as a core part of our culture, which is the initial investment we made. The 30,000 square feet of investment and 1,200 research engineers, we put it together to encode all the financial needs in a microservices, APIs, and events. And in Purple Fabric, we start looking at it that how do I look at the element by right design and right engineering. And when we are applying to the customer, we need to say they have to reimagine their customer first, products, operations, and compliance. And when they have to reimagine, first thing they have to reimagine, like what we did at Intellect, we reimagined our customers, we reimagine our products the way we write, we imagine our operations the way engineering is done, the way implementation is done, and we reimagine our risk and controls along with it. Same thing I want to recommend when we are going to our clients, and we are close to 45 clients which adopted Purple Fabric, that to start the journey, they have to start from design thinking, because design thinking is a core value for looking at the change. We need to look at first principle thinking and then the system thinking. And this point of time, I would like to say what design thinking means. Design thinking, to me, is a starting point, is desirability of the customer. When customer comes first, that's the time when design thinking start working on. This slide, you must have seen it. Design thinking is about desirability of the customer. So for a bank or financial institution or any other company, the desirability is about understanding the desirability of the customer. It could be particular segment, particular country, particular state. How do you understand the desirability of the customer? Now, technology is there which can make it feasible. Over the period of time, we deploy multiple technology, but technology is to make it feasible, and then business makes it viable. The way you design the product, the way you articulate the product, that makes it viable. So this is the first core principle of it. But to understand what is the desirability, I need to understand, normally this is a mystery. So it's so confused. Customer will give a lot of analysts will give the report, lot of data will be coming from the market. How do I move from desirability from mystery to heuristics and then to algorithm? So once I move in that direction, I use 4 techniques for doing it. Technique number 1, I want to listen. I call it 4 principles of understanding the unstated need of the customer. Stated needs everybody knows. It's published by McKinsey, it's published by Gartner, it's published by many analysts. We need to understand what is the unstated need. The unstated need can be understood by 4 alphabet, LORD, which you call LORD, listen, observe, research, and dialogue. These 4 elements makes me to understand the unstated needs. Then I need to observe the patterns, what works in the market, what is working for the competition, what is not working for the competition, what technology is working, what operations are working. So I need to observe patterns and anti-patterns. Then I need to connect the dots where I can connect pattern and anti-pattern to design the product or to design the experience or to design the operations. Still, I may have something I don't know what I don't know, and I have to discover what I don't know on continuous basis. So that's the part of my design thinking metaphor which we applied at Intellect, and we encourage when we are starting a journey of business impact AI in your organization. I strongly recommend that it has to organize your thinking space in your organization. So first step is everybody should be aligned, all the management committee members should be aligned, all the leadership should be aligned, and there should be strategic roadmap for getting into the AI. So once you're organizing the thinking space, then only we move towards expanding the performance space, which can be done using the first principle thinking and then system thinking. 3 laws of design thinking: less is more. We need to pick up less things. We need to prioritize 10 gram, 100 gram, 1000 gram, and last 2% is 200%. So best part of the design thinking is last 2% is 200%. This is the critical thing which AI can bring a strong differentiation. All our products which we have written and the technology we are writing, AI is helping us to get this last 2% to 200% level. And that's why our microservices are foundry grade microservices, foundry grade APIs, so that when we promise to the customer, it's just composition job like IKEA do. So this is what we do in area of how do we apply all of design thinking principle at Intellect, and this helps us out to reimagine the businesses of the customer, where a bank may needs to service a customer who needs core banking, who needs lending, who needs wealth management, who needs payments. They can be composed in one single solution with a one customer system. Now this is about my design thinking. Now let me come to the first principle thinking. So when we started this journey on business impact AI, we say, okay, this is artificial intelligence. We know about AI since 1991. It's not a new subject. That time it used to be neural networks. We studied this in IIT when we visited them, and we used to be fascinated about them. By 2010, Google has a map. They use this neural network to predict the time of destination. The whole new revolution happened. Uber came in, all the food services company came in. That is a part of AI journey. Now in last 3 years, when generative AI came in, it just become, the whole noise of AI become 10x, or I would say 50x or 100x, the entire space has. When this noise has come up so to that level, we try to analyze on the whiteboard in one of the design thinking session that let me start from human intelligence first, and then we move to artificial intelligence. Because if I have to come AI has to come closer to the human intelligence, then I need to understand what constitute human intelligence. So human intelligence to me comes from expertise. Every organization moat is the experts which they have. Expert consists of multiple skills, S1, S2, S3 skill, S4, 5 skills. So one expert may have multiple skill attached to it. Now the skill is not it creates the expert, but it doesn't create the business impact. For business impact, I need to have what is the intent and purpose of, what is my imagination, what is my empathy, what is my experience, and what is my knowledge. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is my traits. How do I apply that? Can I willing to take a decision to apply a particular emac.ai in a system or any new technology? It requires a courage. It requires curiosity to understand. It requires operations. It requires compliance. It requires mindset of a sales or gregariousness. So this I call it traits over here. So talent is consist of, human intelligence is consist of 3-dimensional metrics: expertise, perspective, and traits, which constitute human intelligence. Now, if I have to translate that into artificial intelligence, I need to see how this knowledge becomes a pivotal point in this entire transformation, because this is where maximum amount of efforts is happening, and it depends on the knowledge, which is most critical piece over there. So from that perspective, we have to look at it, the first principle thinking, that knowledge, we discovered knowledge is a centerpiece, center theme of the organization. And we realize that knowledge and expertise are the two things which give a moat to any organization. And today with AI, I have an advantage of bringing entire knowledge and curate the knowledge and nurture the knowledge the way LLM is nurturing and curating the knowledge in the outside system. I can do the same curation and nurturing the knowledge into my enterprise knowledge garden. So that was a discovery. We could get it when we applied first principle thinking to transform the agentic AI to a business impact AI. So moving from here, I move to the next step, which is a system thinking. So I mentioned about 3 things which is there. Yeah. First design thinking, second first principle thinking, and third is system thinking. System thinking to me is as I was mentioning, knowledge becomes a critical part in my journey. We design the cartographic view of my knowledge. What is my enterprise knowledge consist of? My enterprise knowledge consists of my functional knowledge of the products, my technology knowledge of the products, my knowledge of the scope, functional, technical, operational, the product knowledge, patterns, what is coming into the market, my policies, my product management processes, my governance processes, and my technology assets, started from microservices, database design, UI design, observability, security. This is my product management guardrails. This is my foundational knowledge. So this is one we call cartographic view. For system thinking, I start with a cartographic view, and this cartographic view, if you observed, they are entirely codified. 3.4, 3.5, that is codified. So that's the first thing. When you see human intelligence where knowledge is a centerpiece, I need to protect this knowledge, and I need to vectorize this knowledge, and I need to look at it how this knowledge can be connected knowledge or resulting into connected intelligence. Next step. The next thing I did is now we connected it to the next level thing, what is a human expert and what is a digital experts. So we looked at it, if I have to increase my productivity, or I need to increase effectiveness, or I need to give first time right to the customer, who are the role holder whom we need to serve. We started from the role holder. There is a project management, there is a sales and solution designers, architect and design, requirement management, development and coding, testing and assurance, DevOps, and support. So these are 8 areas we identified. For these 8 areas, then we look at it, where do we apply agentic AI. It could be in diagnostic area, where there is a defect diagnostic or contract diagnostic or CR diagnostic. There could be some generation areas, which is there, RFP response, requirement, code generation, interfaces. There could be some reviews which can be done. They could be in analysis area. They could be in subject matter experts, which is in short supply for most of the organization, or which would be in tech subject matter or a domain subject matter or security subject matter expert. Or when there is a flow transaction in a lot of, if there are defects coming in a system, if there are complaints are there in the system, what kind of a pattern analysis can be done? And then there is the assurance layer. So we brought down into 6 areas where we start working on agentic AI to see each document which is parked in an enterprise knowledge garden, can I put it over here? So this was a part of system thinking. So system thinking is, what my recommendation is that as a financial institution or any construction company or a hoteling industry or automobile sector, first you need to have a cartographic view of your operations, your knowledge, and where you can apply agentic AI. So there are 3 things which is there. I need to have the way I put it, my L0 chart, we call it level 0 knowledge, where I put the banking knowledge, core banking knowledge. So each one of them, I need to create a knowledge map for you. And that's a starting point, so that when you are applying AI, it has right business impact at the time of conceptualizing it, rather than going to the pilot route. So system thinking is something core value. After we consume design thinking, then first principle thinking, and then system thinking. Once we complete these 3 areas, this is a time to introduce a platform. Why the platform is required? Why can't I just run ChatGPT in organization, co-pilots, I can enable everybody and I can have 5,000 co-pilots, but each one of them will work on a silos. We need to have a science to the madness, and that science to madness, I think Palantir has discovered quite early that it has to be the data as a service or knowledge as a service. So these 2 they try to do it early, and they thought of it as a platform, not like a one aid to the manager. So many areas in today's world are built on 3 layers. First layer is who are the foundational research people who are creating this model, who are creating this LLM technology. Second is applying them into silos, into a specific area, whether I can make a PPT out of it, or I can make a podcast out of it, or I can summarize the minutes of meeting. So they are taking a siloed value creation, and there are multiple players. There are more than 100 companies in that space. And then there are few players which are addressing this problem from a platform perspective. And they have different approaches. It's still an industry which is growing, and to us, we approach this problem like a operating system problem. The way operating system is designed, the way database is designed, the way middleware was designed, we believe that Purple Fabric has to be seen as an infrastructure design, not a application design. On the infrastructure layer, then I can build the agents on the top of it. So we use 217 technologies to drive the things. There are 4 tech stacks. We divide this into 4 tech stacks: enterprise knowledge garden, enterprise digital experts, enterprise governance, and LLM optimization. We have a data as a service which is available to most of your institutions, whether it's in structured data in some systems form, or in data warehouse, or in data lake. We want to reuse that. We don't want to disturb that, and we don't want to vectorize that. From knowledge garden, we want to have knowledge as a service. These 2 things, when you combine, it becomes expertise as a service, and that is what we call digital expert. So digital expert is the outcome of knowledge and data to be combined together to create a digital expert. So this is a first concept I want to give it out to you. There are 4 different tech stacks. For business impact AI, you need to look at it, each tech stack from a different lens. And this 4 tech stack has to talk to each other in harmony and synthesize the symphony out of the to drive the digital expert. Next page comes in is my moving to enterprise knowledge garden. In enterprise knowledge garden, what is enterprise knowledge garden? I think we heard data lakes, we heard data warehouse. The thought which triggered in our one of the nights when we are sitting together, late night on innovation lab with Deepak and their team, that if data is so critical and we call everything data, I said data and knowledge are the different stages. First there is the data. When data gets converted into some tabular structure, it becomes information. Then it translates into knowledge, and then it becomes intelligence. So there are 4 stages: data, information, knowledge, and intelligence. These are 4 stages. Then the core piece is I need to store my knowledge, which is stored in 3 forms. Knowledge can be explicit knowledge, implicit knowledge, and tacit knowledge. In my personal experience of last 39 years running 3 companies, Nucleus, Polaris, and Intellect, I found almost 70% of my knowledge is the tacit knowledge. They reside in the mind of the experts which are there in the organization, which is never captured in a form of a system. Today there is an opportunity in business impact AI to capture that tacit knowledge, so that all the knowledge which is coming from minutes of meeting, all the knowledge which is coming from processes, systems, policies, I can document. I can bring it into the same system. I have a concept too. The type of documents what we have, we need to classify into guide rail document, guardrail documents, flow documents, customer knowledge at each touch point. So there are 4 areas in which I define the knowledge as guide rail are those knowledge which is my processes in the company. How these processes are working efficiently, where is the breakdown happening, I should have a capturing that guide rail knowledge. Guardrail knowledge are my policy document or my control documents, where I need to control my guardrail documents. My flow documents are my transaction which is flowing, my customer service request which is coming in, customer complaints which are coming in. Those are my flow documents, and I need to draw the pattern synthesizing on that. And then I have every customer touch point, I need to capture that knowledge which customer is talking to us. Concept 3 is when I have data as a service and knowledge as a service, and I embed into the digital expert, the two pipes are going, and there I can create a digital expert. Here in my enterprise knowledge garden, I have to have a agentic AI should be called as a API call from the application. So when I'm composing the application, which I explained to you, emag.ai, there are 4 set of blocks are there: events, microservices, API, and agents. All are connected on APIs. So when somebody is composing an application on Workbench, all of it can be combined together, and knowledge garden plays a critical role in giving the more than 90% accurate knowledge to the agent, or 95% accuracy and sometimes 98% accuracy. And that's where we created a very large, for one of the European largest fund in Europe, over $1.8 trillion. We created a knowledge garden close to 12 million documents of 9,000 companies brought in from public storage, and any press releases are been brought in which is in public domain to give them access to non-financial data. They had a financial data from the companies, but non-financial data we are given. So we created a EKG for them. It's the largest EKG we are running for them, as of today. So from enterprise knowledge garden, which is a core principle of looking at it, we move to enterprise digital experts. And this is very interesting because why we are calling experts? Because industry calls them agents. They call multi-agent. To me, if you go back to human intelligence where expertise, perspective and traits need to be bundled in, that's what we are calling expert. Because when agent become expert, then it can work with my side as a human expert, and digital expert can sit side by side to expand my capacity of the expertise. So over here, the concept number 1, understanding agent and their skills. So for any process, I need to have the understanding what skills are required for that expertise. So if I'm a test writer, test case writer, I need to understand what my skills are required. I need to understand functional requirement, I need to understand domain requirement, and I need to understand how the testing process works. So to generate a test case scenarios, I need to have all this knowledge coming to me. And that is why I call it, I need an atomic agent or molecular agent or a compound agent. So I have 3 types of agent which is possible, which constitute to make a digital expert. So in some of the digital expert which we make, sometimes you require 7 digital experts, sometimes you need 7 digital agents, sometimes you need 12 agents, sometimes you need 18 agents. So that's where the combination concept 1. Then purpose of the agent is, it could be rule-based agent, which we call reflex agent, or it could be model-based agent, it could be goal-based agent, or it could be learning agent. So there are 4 type of category of agents are there. Then concept 3 is digital expert with inter-agent orchestration. So these agents has to talk to each other. Like a human team talk to each other, these agents has to talk to each other. This orchestration among the agents and having a dialogue among each other. So each agent 2 can talk to agent 5 and ask a question to him like a Socrates dialogue. So it generates its own question to validate the answer. Concept 4 is, it's a community of enterprise build design consume. So there are 2 communities. First is who design the experts and somebody who is consuming the expertise. So in any organization like Intellect, we identified that we need close to some 20 experts to be running. These 20 experts are composable agents which we compose into 20 experts, and those 20 experts are working today in an organization wide. So they are 6,000 consumer, 20 experts. So these experts are run like a product within the way you run a product like core banking or CASA or loan origination or ERP or invoice processing. Similar to that, we have this 20 experts in the system. This digital expert can be called as the API. So in any application where I have to compose, either agent can be called as the API or expert can be called as the API. There are list of multiple experts. Will show you some of the experts Deepak will share with you during his presentation. So this is on enterprise digital expert. From here we move to third stack, which is enterprise governance stack. Enterprise governance of AI is the biggest challenge today in the world. Is even your pilot is right and you can demonstrate your AI capability, but to go on production, from pilot to production, there's a huge boulders which I described in the beginning. There's a financial boulder. People are worried about the cost of LLMs. People are worried about security, entitlement. So over here, first is of enterprise governance, I need to have a traceability and explainability of every decision I'm taking. Concept 2, structured distribution of knowledge to the workspaces. So I need to create workspaces. There could be workspace for management team. There could be workspace for sales team. There's a workspace for talent team. There's a workspace for marketing team. There's a workspace for execution team. There's a workspace for financial teams. So this is a workspace concept has to be there, which is siloed from a perspective of keeping the entitlement of the knowledge within that area And there could be some public domain workspace which is accessible. So in Enterprise Knowledge Garden, I'll classify the document which are public for all the employees, and something which is at hierarchical level, level 1, level 2, level 3, or department level. So this is called workspaces. So this is a concept of workspaces. Then there is a concept of entitlement of experts and entitlement of LLM usage. How much particular person can consume LLM? What is the limit available to him? So this is about enterprise governance. It has got all the security embedded. My Purple Fabric Cloud has been validated. It's running in US from last 5 years. It has got all the security control, your data control, your knowledge control is available in Purple Fabric Cloud. It has got all the certifications which is required, and with AWS we fine-tune the security issues which is required, or entitlement issues which is required over there in enterprise governance. Second concept is, fourth stack is LLM optimization. Now, LLM, we know typically 10 to 20 LLMs which are floating in a market. But if you go to Hugging Face, and I was surprised to see, last year when I went to Hugging Face, it was 300,000 LLMs. This year I went to LLM, Hugging Face, it shows 1.7 million LLMs. Now, they are at various price point and various capabilities. For each of the agent to be more effective, I use the methodology of cost of LLM, accuracy of LLM, speed of LLM, and throughput of LLM. Based on these 4 blocks, I evaluate, I select every month to benchmark it. That gives me ability for fine-tuning the cost of LLM usage. So I have a selectioning, I have a benchmarking, and I have a ability to monitor every month which particular LLM should I use for particular use case. This is saving me 70% of the cost. So if LLM was costing me during the design phase at 100 rupees, by 3-4 iteration, which is the right LLM, we are bringing that cost to 30 rupees. And that's a huge amount of saving with LLM Optimization Hub. Moving to the next. To this. What? Okay. So these 4 technologies we implemented. At this point of time, I want to demonstrate these technologies. Deepak would like to demonstrate these technologies to you. It's starting from Enterprise Knowledge Garden, as well as Digital Expert, which he has created. And I'll come back to you on summarizing what capabilities we have, which is ready-made available for you to be consumed from Business Impact AI Purple Fabric. Welcome, Deepak. It's a marvelous way of looking at it. The simple question to complex strategic question. I don't think we had this tool 2 years back, or 1 year back, or even 6 months back. When we start consolidating into tech stack called Enterprise Knowledge Garden, which is Strategy Knowledge Garden, as you've seen, which is different from the Knowledge Garden, which is otherwise available for the Product Knowledge Garden. So this is what at Intellect we are start having a I360 where almost 386 microservices knowledge is available. So if a team which is working on a corporate banking product on liquidity and they need a core banking knowledge to integrate, they can use EnterpriseGPTs. So as an IT services company where there are thousands of people working, this knowledge can become a central knowledge pool. All the technology subject matter expertise can have a one area where we can have the operating system to middleware to all cloud related technologies. Expert can be sitting there. On other side, I can have a domain expertise of retail banking or corporate banking or insurance or wealth management and capital market can be sitting by the. So which was one of the biggest challenge we had was this expertise was sitting with few experts. Now these digital experts work 24/7 without silos and without biases. Earlier, we used to find a person from a retail banking unit will not talk to corporate banking unit, or corporate banking unit will say, I am not available. But these digital experts are available 24/7, and they don't say that I don't have a time. Normally, human expert always land up into that I have a time, or I don't have a time, or I'll come to me after 2 days, or come to me after 3 days. Over here, digital expert has a more power than it used to exist during the human expertise system. Now, moving from Enterprise GPT, which is for banks, it's a great use case is even bank websites, the knowledge is available in a bank website, the branch manager may not have the complete knowledge at the time when his customer is walking into the branch. And that is the place where he needs at his tips that this customer has the opportunity for cross-selling next product. So when I'm saying more product to the same customer to increase the revenue, Enterprise GPT can play a significant role for the financial institution, for NBFCs, for wealth managers, for pharma companies, anywhere where the large system, distribution system is there. A lot of time, the latest knowledge doesn't reach to the last mile, and that's where the Enterprise GPT is there, and that's where the Enterprise Knowledge Garden is a starting point for this journey. Let me summarize that how that platform has been built. Moving to the next point, where we say Enterprise Knowledge Garden comes with a cloud infrastructure and a PaaS. Move to the next layer. It has a foundational model, which is on the right side. Then it's moving to the next layer, which is Enterprise Knowledge Garden. Moving to the next, there's an agent designer. From agent designer, there's a digital experts which get designed, and there's an enterprise AI governance sitting on the top of it. And there's a security on the left side with the guardrails available. And this is available for UI, and this UI can be available as the API call to your existing application. So if you're running your digital application to the customer or customer application, this AI can be called. So this is a view of the architecture. How do we use it for serving for our various industries? So I classify into 3 industry segments. One is the BFSI segment. Next, in BFSI segment, we have a 12 retail experts in retail banking. We have a 30 experts in wholesale banking. We have 9 experts in wealth area and 11 in insurance, which are ready to use, which can be deployed on the top of Purple Fabric, which is there. So in retail banking area, we start from agent from onboarding, self-onboarding, document extraction, innovation, card products, the customized customer experience product, client servicing. We have the agents from fraud prevention, portfolio analysis, loan processing, your operation of lendings, credit operations, enhanced collections, relationship management. So this is a complete set of close to 50 agents are working, which gets coming into 4 areas in banking operations. First area is my customer onboarding or signing up a new customer. Second area is credit operation. Third area is transaction operation. Fourth area is my compliance and risk. So these 12 experts are working for all the 4 areas together in retail banking space. Next, in a wholesale banking space, there are close to 30 experts which are sitting with us from corporate account onboarding, corporate payments, corporate relationships, corporate recon. I don't have to read out all of it. The in trade finance, sanction data, SCF, dealer management, trade and supply chain management, deposits. So we have a comprehensive list of the wholesale banking experts. There's a Purple Fabric book which we have. So for some of the customers, this book has all the agents listed over here. So you can order this book on our website by putting a request onto it. Moving on, the wealth area, we have close to 9 experts as of now available. There are close to 30 agents which is working from client 360 to company 360 to corporate intelligence, to business assurance, advisor assistants, to RM complaint investigation. So these are the core 9 experts, and if you look underlying, there could be close to 55, 60 agents which will be working to deliver 9 experts which can be deployed in the customer side. Insurance, we have 11 digital experts from pipeline management. So we run the insurance underwriting process from way we do the ingestion to the way we check the data sufficiency. If you need some third-party data to validate, we use the third-party data to validate. We match, we do the match between what the quotes and what the bind costs are there. We are doing checking with underwriting policy analyst. So there are 11 experts in insurance segment. Moving from BFSI segment to procurement, finance, accounting, where other industry leaders outside BFSI industry, which is closest to the banking industry, we have built up significant agent in procurement side. Procurement side, when you're procuring, you need a bidding assistant. You need a catalog approval. You need a demand forecasting. You need inventory optimization. You need accounts payable. We have a magic invoice, which is a invoice reading, purchase order reading, matching the purchase order with the invoice, matching the taxes from there, tax collection is there. So this complete cycle for procurement to payments to tax reconciliation is a kind of a category. 11 digital experts are contributing to it. So this could be used by any industry. And more agents can be created by you. So we are not selling experts here. We are selling a platform here. These experts are the outcome of your reimagination, how you want to reimagine the business. These are easy asset for you to imagine how you want to deploy these experts using the system over there. The important point I want to highlight over here is this experts, what we are building, you need to change the culture, which I mentioned, design thinking culture to first principle thinking culture to system thinking culture, where we will encourage your managers to reimagine their workplace. Consider them that they cannot hire employees, or say HR has a limitation of how many people they can employ, but they can build their own digital experts who work next to them. They can expand their capacity by building it. Moving to next category, we have for IT services company. So there's a large pool of IT service company which can use Purple Fabric platform the way Intellect is using. Our accuracy of delivery has improved by more than 30%. Our defect rate has come down by 60% in last 1 year by using Purple Fabric. So total efficiency where the product leakages were there is all getting stopped because we are using the complete suite for all the managers in the company. It can start from as simple as API testing expert to test case generation for any large application, or if any RFP or tender is coming, how do we evaluate it? How do I respond to that RFP? It generates me RFP response based on the tender, and it validates my enterprise knowledge garden to check that this is the tender, this is the RFP which came to me. Against this RFP, which has got 2,000 items, how many items are available as per the enterprise knowledge garden? And based on that, it can say, I have a 85% fitment for this tender document, and these 15 items are not there. Can we use some other microservices to fit into this document? The entire application management support is using by Purple Fabric. We are uploading all the defects which is being there in the system. We are looking at pattern synthesizing agent who is doing the pattern synthesizer. These are the kind of defects. So when a new defect or a customer complaint comes in, it first gives you the recommended answer what we solve the problem. So this is giving the faster response time to the customer in lot of simple L1 issues, it becomes almost in same time it can answer. Some of the L3 issues can be taken up next level. There is a deployment expert, which is another important area in quality for us is deployment expert. When you're deploying a product on cloud with multiple element, how do you see that everything is assured? There's a diagnostic expert, there's a subject matter expert of tech and domain, there's a security expert, there's a RFP response, which I mentioned, and pattern synthesizing. There are 11 such experts which is helping our organization to drive almost 30% more productivity than what we had last year. Next. So this IT services company is the only example, but as a bank, you have IT department, you can consume the same way the Purple Fabric to build competency in your IT services organization, in IT organization of yourself. So this is a kind of a typical structure of a tech organization, which I shared earlier. I'll just quickly run it past, then which I mentioned about the organization roles, then translating, just quickly run it past. There are diagnostic elements, there are generation elements, there are review elements, there is a pattern synthesizing elements, and there is a assurance elements. So there are 6 categories we define, and these are the agents which is contributing to those 11 experts which is there. Move on. So similarly, Enterprise GPT, what we recommend to our customer is we can create Enterprise 1.0, which is about the public domain data. We come to you to demonstrate the power of Enterprise GPT based on your own data in your website or any public domain data or your regulated data like RBI, SEBI data is there, which is in public domain, and based on that, you can look at it, your products are complying to regulator or not, which is a 1.0. It doesn't require anything else. And since it's public domain data, I can download, vectorize all the circulars of RBI or circulars of the SEBI or any other regulator. Then when you choose Purple Fabric platform, then you can use your own data sources where you can bring your own policies, product document, internal documents to put into the knowledge garden. Then 3.0, we bring your data sources also connected. So data sources, we have a data to knowledge bridge, which converts the schema, your data schema, so that it can generate your natural language to SQL converter, can give a efficient engine for 3.0. 4.0 is about I use external ecosystem player to make EKG 4.0. So there are 4 stages of effective EKG. Depending upon your acceleration in your organization, it may take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, depending on how you want to run your journey from 1.0 to 4.0. Move on. So this is the concept which we are looking at it from the perspective of how various areas which we have worked out, which is available, readily available, and there we can demonstrate the power of Enterprise GPT. Now coming to how do we deploy it. This Purple Fabric, we have both the models available. We have a deployment at AWS or Azure, private cloud. You have a private cloud so that your knowledge remains with you. You can have your own instance of AWS or Azure private cloud, or you consume PF cloud, which is also as secure as AWS or Azure, but depending upon how your compliance department is, if they feel comfortable and you are using any of the cloud, AWS or Azure at this point of time, and they are approved cloud in your system, you put Purple Fabric as an infrastructure layer for you. Each install can have independent tenants or independent workspaces for various departments, as I mentioning in the beginning. How do you start the business impact AI? Start small. Use Enterprise EKG and Enterprise GPT. You start imagining and reimagining using design thinking. So I would encourage you to have session in our FT8012, which is our design center, to start design thinking, first principle thinking, and system thinking to understand the cartographic map of your organization. There you can imagine and discover what is the most business impactful items which you need to choose. And that discovery is important at this stage. So this step of design thinking and imagination is the next step. Then we need to certify 2035 Purple Fabric architect. If you can build on it, they can start doing themselves. So we want to enable you to build all these expert rather than dependent on us. Choose 3 pilots on Purple Fabric, one in customer area, one in operation area, one in regulation area, which will be the most important for you. And finally, the success is when you make Enterprise GPT live and your managers start using themselves. It's a self-learning platform. In Intellect, yesterday I was talking to my quality manager, and she was saying that my manager has to do some 20 documents for certification of each microservices on security. He has written one small agent himself without the help of anybody else. He didn't even attend the boot camp, but he learned from his colleague, and he built up the agent to take the inputs from the 20 reports and creating a one summary report which can be submitted to the customer. So it's a ability to augment your manager capacity. We have a talent manager in HR who is using for evaluating the candidate against the grid that this is the position, this is the interview is recorded, interview recording has been done and put into the transcript has been given as per goal what is required for that role. And this has speeded up our recruitment cycle time at least by 50%. It cut down to half in last 3 months when these managers are imagining their own problem solving, not the problem solving what we wanted, but this problem solving at their own level. So move on to the final point, that this Purple Fabric is a revolution because we are building all the 4 technologies for business impact AI. And this point of time, I won't say that everybody it requires to succeed, it has to be looked at as an ecosystem. It's an ecosystem where enterprise customer is sitting here, we have bank and BFC, AMC, wealth is sitting here, we have hospital, pharma, manufacturer, construction industry. Then internal, each one of the department has business, operation, and technology. What we need is AI strategy and consulting, IT services company, Purple Fabric Academy, educational institution, KPO, BPO, infrastructure services, technology consulting, and business consulting. All of us has a role to play to make Purple Fabric as an ecosystem play. So welcome to the world of Purple Fabric. We are very excited. It's a decade-long journey. We invest 2 million hours per year. Over the last 10 years, we invested 20 million hours in research and engineering to create zero-waste architecture. We believe that cost of technology year on year should come down rather than going up. So our thesis is by simplification and complexity reduction, we should not be celebrating the cost of technology going up. So some of the bankers I have seen where they are articulating that my budget was X billion dollar last year and Y billion dollar this year, and we are investing more in technology. I think when you are going with the first principle thinking, the cost of technology should come down year on year because you are simplifying some of the processes and deleting some of the processes to design the better technology for tomorrow rather than working on same old technology and doing a band-aid solution each time when you have a customer need. So to me, it's not about celebrating more and more. Less is more as a first principle of design thinking. Last 2% is 200%. And in business impact AI, we need to choose our 1,000-gram problem rather than a 110-gram problem. So don't waste time in small pilots. Make it a strategic agenda for your enterprise. That's my recommendation. Thank you for taking out time to listen to me.